Oakland A's UK. Oakland A's UK. The Oakland A's UK. The Oakland A's UK.
Hello and welcome to the Oakland A's UK podcast. I'm your host, Matt Smith. It's Saturday the 13th of June. Now, we're no further nearer to the MLB 2020 season starting, unfortunately, but we're not going to let the owners and the players who can't get their asses in gear obstruct our great force for good. That is the A's UK podcast. A's minor leaguers, you're very welcome. More on that in a moment, but today, as we haven't got any baseball still, we're going to have a look at some of our favourite A's players. We're going to put together a team of our favourite A's. And when I say we, I'm joined by two guests. So first off, we have officially a podcast regular now in the form of fellow A's UK member, Dom. How are you doing, Dom?
Hi, Matt. I'm well, thanks.
Good. I see you've got a nice T-shirt on there.
Yes. Just in case this ends up on a video, I'll move slightly so that you can see it. It says we're all in this together, and it's a lovely gramophone holding a record above its head, and it's from 1234 Go Records. So shout out to Steve and Hannah for buying it for me.
Lovely job. Okay, good to have you along, Dom. And Jay, making your debut here from the New York A's. Nice to welcome you on. You're sort of an honorary A's UK member, I take you as, really.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I guess there's kind of the roots of the A's UK go back a little bit to the friendship with Dom and I, and kind of like the New York A's. Our original New York A's flag actually references East Lancashire on it. So we didn't have enough members without Dom flying over every summer.
Okay, so what we're planning to do is to put together a team of our favourite A's. So not necessarily statistically the best, but the ones who've meant the most to us, really. Okay, so we're going to we'll switch across to third base rather than shortstop, and we'll turn over to the dulcet tones of Dom for this one. Because
we need an introduction to my third baseman.
Here we go.
I don't know if you can hear that. I think this will almost certainly be the least surprising pick.
Nice dancing by Jay.
So it is, of course, Matt Chapman.
It is, of course. Ain't Nobody.
It's partially because of the song, but also because the guy is Superman. I mean, most mornings when we wake up, Matt, you'll know this. When we wake up, you sort of log on, and the first thing you do is you check the score, and the second thing you do is you check the amazing video of whatever play Matt Chapman did that night. Yeah. Almost before you watch the home runs, unless the play that he did was the home run.
He's such a two-way player, isn't he? You know, I know he sort of struggled a little bit offensively second half of last season, but I think that was just kind of a temporary thing. He gives a lot with a bat, and he is just amazing at third base. Really is
incredible defensively. Like he's probably the best third baseman in the league, and I'll argue that point with anyone that wants to bring it on.
That's fair enough. I've also gone for Matt Chapman. I think I wanted to pick someone who was a current player on our team, and there's no one better. I am a little bit worried that I think his contract runs out at the end of 2023, which in theory should be our first season in our new ballpark, and it would be very Oakland A for one of our best players to leave at the end of the first season in the new ballpark. So I hope that's not how history plays out, but he's a great player. And like you say, Dom, when we wake up, we often don't get to watch all of the games because of the time difference, but we pick out the highlights in particular, and it's very rare when we watch a game and we go and look at the highlights that there isn't at least one from Matt Chapman. So yeah, he's definitely a solid choice, but another very good choice. Going over to Jay, another guy who had, I think it was 5 Gold Gloves, was it in the end? Your choice at third base?
I mean, yeah, he kind of just kept winning Gold Glove after Gold Glove. So Eric Chavez, and also I think a few seasons with 30 plus home runs. Um, it's very. I mean, if you made me pick between him and Matt Chapman as to who's a better player overall, I might go Chapman. But just where I was at that time in my life as an A's fan, Eric Chavez or Xavi, um, just he was doing all these same things that Chapman was doing,
Mm.
but I had season tickets and I was, falling in love with this team. So
Yeah.
it says more about where I was than picking any difference between Eric Chavez and Matt Chapman. But I remember him diving into the dugout, sliding into the dugout uh, off of third base to rob a guy, to create an out of what should have been a foul ball. And if you're familiar with the Coliseum, which everyone listening to this should be, that's the dugout's pretty far away from third base.
Yeah.
Like it's like him making a play on the other side of second base from third base,
Yeah.
and then falling into a dugout. So like, which there's no big hole over on the other side of second base.
No.
But so he was just making plays like that. He was good for a web gem, if you will, on Baseball Tonight. Once a week, and then there was also this. He hit a walk-off home run off of Sasaki to beat the Mariners the year that they won 116 games, and I believe we won 105. And there was that home run just went right over my head. The bleachers were packed, the entire Coliseum was packed, and that's just a highlight memory for me. So it's got to be Eric Chavez.
Cool. Yeah, it was always a shame with him. He was the one guy of the lot who we were able to sign an extension with. And it was kind of pretty much when the extension kicked in that he started having lots of injury troubles because they've been so dependable and so reliable. So I remember watching him a bit, but I was more the tail end, the kind of injury years of his career. But you look back at the highlights and, he's very comparable to Matt Chapman in what he did with the glove and the bat. So yeah, it's just a shame he kind of tailed off a bit because of the injuries, unfortunately.